point. Okay.
Thank you very much, Chair. I feel that this is a very consequential report. You know, the right education for all our children to be able to thrive is one of our fundamental duties, I think, as councillors and as a council. And I'd first like to say I really appreciate the hard work of our education team led by Brian, school staff and governors, and as well as the partners who you know, have supported this, including our local health colleagues. There's two really big things in this report. I mean, there's a lot of things in this report. It's a huge report, but there are two really big things I think we all need to take away from this report. The first is that the SEND reform plan is, most importantly, about thinking about how can we better support our children with additional needs. You know, education for all of our children with SEND should be good enough that it's good enough for our own child. And we know that sometimes that's not always the case, and we know that's a problem across the country. And my passion, and I know the passion of the education team and of councillors, certainly on this side, and I'm sure on all sides, is that we really make that happen. And if you look through, it's Appendix A in the council papers, but this is what we're going to be wanting to submit to government to say this is what we want to lay out for how we deliver on that. And I'm actually really pleased that the government has really taken the same seriousness and urgency to this issue that we wanted to as a council. And so, although it's a difficult report to write because it's very big, there's a lot in it and lots of moving parts, the general principle I felt was quite easy for Reading because our passion and our aspiration for our children to be able to thrive when possible in mainstream, but with the right support if they need it, is what the government wants us to do. So that's really, really positive. The second thing that I want us all to take away is the High Needs Block Sustainability Grant, as it was very correctly referred to, or as I think of it, as this government sorting out the mess of the last government. You know, that bluntly is what's happened, I'm afraid. For many years, what's happened is that the overspend in every council across the country on what's called the high needs block, which is support for children with additional needs, has been allowed to snowball. And it was put on the too difficult pile, bluntly, I think, by successive Conservative education secretaries. And eventually, of course, somebody has to sort it out, because otherwise your accounting trick, and I'm an accountant, I'm sorry, but the statutory oversight is an accounting trick that allowed us to put it aside, pretend it wasn't there until suddenly it would be. It wasn't debt that was written off, it was just put on one side. And eventually that comes home to roost, and our Section 151 officer would have had to have a very, very serious conversation with our council, just as with every other council across the country. This is not a Reading problem, it was a national problem, and it was and I got very angry about it towards the end of the last Conservative government, actually. I felt really frustrated, thinking, what are we going to do? You know, and fortunately, we now have a serious government, and a very serious decision has been taken by the Secretary of State and by the Treasury to allow councils to access this grant, which will allow us to put ourselves on a sustainable footing. It's still going to be a big challenge, because this is not an unlimited offer. You know, it's an attempt to give councils the chance to put themselves on a sound footing. And to access it, we have to have a plan that the government considers that we are also serious. So this plan, actually, many millions of pounds of council funding is reliant on this. And getting this plan through would enable us to not just protect and invest in services for children with special educational needs, but also helps to keep our council on a sound footing. So it's a really serious report. I'm really pleased that it's coming to committee, because not every council has been able to get it ready for committee, and that's a tribute to the hard work of our officers getting it ready for us to bring forward. But I hope that everyone can support this, because it will make a real difference to children in our town.